Hello, continuing our reading of Ereth's Birthday by Avi. Today is chapter 5, The Cabin. There was almost no animal or bird in the world Ereth feared. Owls, foxes, beavers, they were all one to him. True, only rarely would any of them bother him. His sharp quills assured him of that. And if the need came, he was more than capable of defending himself. Humans were quite another matter. Sometimes they merely watched the animals in the forest. Other moments, they wanted to touch them or run away. On still other occasions, however, the humans stayed and killed. People were that unpredictable. The last thing the tired Ereth wanted to do was confront one. Besides, if humans were in the cabin, most likely it was because they were hunting. No, it did not bode well at all. And yet there was the salt. Staring at the cabin, Ereth tried to make up his mind what to do. Marty the fisher, perched high on a branch 40 yards behind Ereth, looked on with troubled interest. He too realized that humans were in residence. As he had followed Ereth through the forest, Marty had wondered where the porcupine was so doggedly heading. Now that he saw the destination, he could guess what the porcupine was after. Salt, Marty said to himself. That stupid beast has come out in a storm in search of human salt. Just to know it was so close to humans made Marty nervous, anxious. He had little doubt these humans were hunters, the worst kind of humans from his point of view. For all he knew, they might even be looking for him, just as they had tracked down his whole family. It made him recall his ironclad rule. Keep far away from humans and all things human. If Ereth has any brains, Marty thought, he'll back off from that cabin and those people. I hope he does. He's acting tired. He's probably cold and hungry. Good. When he turns back from the cabin, he won't have the energy to resist when I strike. Of course, if he's idiot enough to go forward, I'll wait him out. There are always ways to lure someone like Ereth to where I'd like him to be. Marty flexed his sharp claws, watched, and waited. Ereth gave a shake of his head. There was, all in all, no choice to be made. He was cold, tired, hungry. As far as he could determine, the best shelter would be directly under the cabin. Relatively speaking, it would be warm and dry there. It was probably the best place to find some food, too. And of course, there was the whole purpose of the trip to consider. Salt. How could he come so far without so much as a lick to show for it? Besides, though he did not like to mess with humans, he thought it most unlikely they would go under the house. Moving downhill slowly, his breath a cloud of frosty vapor, Ereth watched and listened with each step he took. He was halfway there when, a flash of golden light, the cabin door burst open. The man, so bundled in furs he looked more bear than human, stepped onto the porch, gathered up the last load of logs that lay by the door, then returned to the cabin. The door banged behind him, shutting in the light. After a brief pause, Ereth continued downhill. Moving as fast as the deep snow in his short legs allowed, he waddled across the open space between hill and cabin. Heart racing, panting for breath, he ducked under the structure. He was there. The heat radiating down from the house above was instantly soothing. Ereth took a deep breath and looked around. Only a little snow had collected, and that on the northern side. He noticed a broken chair, a blue plastic tarpaulin bunched up in a corner, a canoe, a snowmobile, a pile of long logs, and on the pile an axe. Unable to restrain himself, Ereth rushed forward, climbed the log pile, sniffed at the axe handle, and all but swooned. The axe handle bore the remains of human sweat, salt. Heart aflutter, Ereth stuck out his tongue and began to lick the handle, as a human would attack an ice cream, going, "Oh, rapture, oh, bliss, oh, salt." It was all he had imagined. The struggle through the snow had been worth it. In a dreamy mood, He had just begun to chew on the axe handle when he was interrupted by the sound of a human voice from above. "I'm telling you, Wayne," the voice said, "I'm so hungry I could eat a live porcupine."
Pulsating puppy pimples,
Ereth snarled.
He can start by chewing my tail.
Despite brave thoughts, Ereth, wondering if he might be better to bolt from the cabin while escape was easy, looked around nervously. Though everything in him told him to run, the idea of doing something to teach the humans a lesson was hard to resist. Turning back to the axe handle, an angry Ereth gnawed furiously. As he chewed, he cast his eyes around in search of something else to mangle. That's when he spied the snowmobile. Ereth was perfectly aware what it was. He had experienced just how much noise they made, the ghastly fumes they left in their wake, the way they chewed up the forest floor. Having seen them from a distance, he also knew how humans used them, by sitting on the long black seat that ran down the middle, then twisting the handlebars, which caused the machine to shoot forward at enormously loud and smelly speeds. Though Ereth did not like snowmobiles, humans, he knew, loved them. As far as he was concerned, that made the snowmobile the perfect target. Having chewed the axe handle almost in two, the porcupine waddled over to the snowmobile. Using his front paws, he hoisted himself onto the back seat. It was soft and pliable. Turning around, he lifted his tail and whacked it a few times. When he was done, a goodly number of quills remained sticking straight up from the seat.
Burping bird burgers, he muttered. That'll fix them.
That accomplished, Ereth used his high perch to observe the rest of the area. In doing so, he noticed a cardboard box and wondered if there was anything in it worth eating. Climbing down from the snowmobile, he waddled over to the box and peered inside, only to recoil in fear. The box held 4 black metal spring traps, the kind humans use to catch animals by their legs. There was also a box trap designed to catch larger animals alive and transport them elsewhere.
Killers,
Ereth whispered in fury.
Oh, they're nothing but killers.
"Hey, Parker!" one of the human voices suddenly said from above. "We need to get some more firewood. Where'd you leave that axe?" "It's under the cabin, on the log pile." "If we're going to keep from freezing tonight, I'd better chop us some more wood. It's getting colder." "Suits me." "Fine," the voice said. "I'm going to get some wood from under the cabin. Be right back." The conversation was followed by the sound of one of the humans moving toward the cabin door. Ereth, close to panic, looked for a place to conceal himself. He caught sight of the blue plastic tarpaulin off in the corner. From above came more footsteps as well as the sound of a door opening and closing. Hurriedly, Ereth clawed his way under the plastic. And that's the end of chapter 5.